Alright, so you have spent the past couple years of your life playing video games, eating junk food, scrolling on TikTok. You have been living in accordance with your deepest addictions, letting your desires win. Maybe you have tried going to the gym or starting a business even, but you haven't been able to stay consistent. Your past bad habits have been holding you hostage. You are what I like to call the thinker. You spend more time thinking about doing the thing than actually doing it. But by clicking on this video, you have made a promise to yourself to change, to shift into this person that's driven by ambition and taking action. You have taken the first step to becoming the doer. What the doer understands is that their past bad habits are ingrained into their subconscious. No matter what they do, there's almost no way they can get rid of these habits. So the way to fix this is going into a period of deep work, focus, and discipline. This period will offset your unorganized routine and allow you to shift your focus, to shift your identity into becoming a different person. Okay. So one thing I want to say before we get into this is that this whole idea of disappearing should only be done for a short period of time. When I first started my personal brand, which I grew from 0 to 300,000 total followers in less than a year, sure, I applied all the things that are in this video and I cut off a lot of contacts, but I kept the closest people to me because we were benefiting each other throughout the whole journey. So just be careful with this. Don't overdo it. You should only be disappearing for a couple of months whenever you start off on some big project you want to launch or you need to make that big switch from bad habits to good habits. Just disappear for a couple of months and then come back a successful person. So here's how I was able to do it with all the tips in this video. I think we should start off with one of the most effective tricks, and that is to wake up at the same time every morning and to make that time early. And what I mean by early is ideally before sunrise or during sunrise. But what you don't want to do is wake up when the sun's already up, everyone's already awake, everyone's moving around, and you're like the last guy to make it to the scene. You're the last guy to start his work. It's going to make you feel behind, and it's not going to give you that edge that you normally would have if you wake up at, let's say, 6 or 7 in the morning, right before sunrise. What I do during school is I go to school at, let's say 8 o'clock, I leave my house. So what I used to do is at 4 o'clock, I would wake up. It seems crazy. I would wake up at 4 a.m. to get my work done before school. So I'd be up at 4 a.m. I'd do my cold shower. I'd do my reading meditation. I'd do like an hour of deep work. I'd eat food, make my next meal. It was crazy. And I did it for, I'm not gonna lie to you, I did it for maybe just 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, I was like, this is insane. I don't think I can keep this up. Then I went back to doing like 6 a.m., 7 a.m.s, mornings where I'm still getting up before most people and I still have enough time to get my work done before school. But I am waking up when the sun's coming up because it's honestly really hard to wake up when it's just no sun out and it's just you alone. It's gonna train your discipline. So the more you do it, the easier it's gonna get. If you just have to keep doing it over and over and over, and then eventually it'll be no problem at all. All right, the next thing I want you to know is that your phone is your worst enemy. I have it right here because I'm watching myself, but normally you don't want your phone next to you when you're working. You don't want your phone on your desk, or even like if I put it up there, if I just put it across the room from me while I was working, like if I was writing a video out or creating a new website, I'm not gonna have my phone in my room with me, right? Because what's that gonna do? It's just gonna create the subconscious distraction that's there. Sure, I could have notifications silenced and I wouldn't be on it, but having the phone in the room is gonna completely throw off my work, because if one ding on that phone goes off, then it's over. I'm losing my focus on my work, I'm losing my flow state, and I'm gonna go check out the notification maybe if I'm undisciplined, and after that, I'll be on TikTok for the next 3 hours without even knowing it. You know, it's dangerous. Don't have your phone anywhere in your room, and like get very particular with it. It cannot be in the room with you. Go put it in a different room. And then the next thing I would say is to always have it on Do Not Disturb. So it's gonna be in a different room from you, and it's gonna be on Do Not Disturb. So you can't hear any notifications coming out from outside of the room, and it's not even in your room with you. So it's gonna be really hard to hear. On the iPhone, there is a setting. You can go into your Do Not Disturb settings, and you can allow people to message you, like go through the Do Not Disturb. And that right there is what you need to turn on for, let's say your parents, turn it on for them so you can get their notification, because it could be an emergency and you don't want to just block that out. If anyone texts you and it's not productive, like they often send you like TikToks or they text you something funny. Sure, it's good to get messages like that, but keep them on the Do Not Disturb side, because you can look at those videos, you can text them back after your work, you can text them back at nighttime, so you don't need to have those notifications on. Versus having your parents' notifications on, you need those right away. You should always keep your phone out of your room. You do not want to hear that buzz, that Snapchat notification whenever you're working. It's gonna throw you off completely. For some of you, I would say delete all social media platforms. Every single one of them. Snapchat, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Like, even though I'm on YouTube, I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram, I'd rather have you succeed than me get an extra view on my videos. Delete all your social media platforms. Okay, some of you are gonna have excuses that you use social media to post if you run a personal brand, or if you are doing any of these online business models that you need social media for. So what I'd recommend is on Instagram, you can mute people's stories and posts. So you'd still be following people because you don't want to just unfollow all your friends because they might get a little mad at you. What you want to do is hold down on their story profile. You can hold down on it and you can mute stories and posts for certain people. I'd say every single person that you follow that isn't posting things that you actually need to see, like if you're working with someone, you need to see their posts, sure, keep them on. But if it's a friend, like you honestly don't need to see what they're doing. You don't need to see if they're going to the beach. You don't need to see those things. So mute the stories and posts of anyone who isn't actually benefiting you, and be honest there, because I bet you most of the people you follow aren't helping you at all. Time block your days. This one is very hard to stick with, but when you're in this period of going ghost, in this period of only focusing on your work, this is going to be extremely helpful. So pull up your calendar on your computer or your phone. So let's say it's Monday. For Tuesday, you're going to plan the tasks that you do at specific times. And I'll be honest, it's hard for me to stick with this because you have things come up here and there. To the best of your ability, you want to be able to predict your days and know exactly what you're going to do. Most of us, we're used to the school schedule. We're used to every 55 minutes, every hour, we switch periods, and we just do that over and over. So since we're kind of programmed to be like that, what you can do is set your work periods for the same time every single day. If you wake up at 5, set your deep work period for 6. Following the first rule, you're going to be up at 5 every day, and then you're going to do your work at 6 every single day. And your body's just going to get used to that schedule of, oh, we've been awake for an hour, time to get to work. One thing I want to add is that you want to add breaks into your time blocks. So we can't work for 8 to 10 hours non-stop and be as productive as possible. If you're running a business or anything, or if you're planning on running a business during this ghost period, what you want to do is, let's say, work for an hour and then have a 30-minute break. Have a 30-minute period where you go listen to a podcast in a different room or do something else. Leading off of that, the next tip I'd have is flow state, is to understand flow state and utilize it wisely. So what is flow state? Flow state is the period where you are completely focused on one task. A great example of this is when you're watching a movie or reading a book and you get to a point where you're so focused on it that you forget that you're watching it. You forget you're sitting on a couch, you forget that you're looking at a page on a book, and that right there is flow state. So imagine if you can get into that level of deep focus with your work to where you're writing out a script for something, you're sending an email, and you don't even notice you're doing it because you're so deep into it. It doesn't even feel like work. So the way we optimize this is, first thing, you want to do it early in the morning. So what you do throughout your day, you have brain points. Let's say you have 50 brain points a day. If you were to go get on your phone and scroll on Instagram first thing in the morning, there goes 2 brain points. And let's say you don't know what you're gonna wear that day, so you go to your closet to find an outfit, there goes another brain point, and you get the point. It keeps going on. So throughout the day, you're gonna lose focus. Therefore, the best time to get into this flow state, to get into this deep work, is directly first thing in the morning. So when you get into this flow state, what you want to do also is cut out like all the distractions. So we already talked about taking the phone out of the room. You also want to lock your doors. So I have 2 doors, I lock them both, and I ensure that people in my house know that not to like bother me whenever the doors are locked. Not like in a disrespectful way, but in a way like I'm working, so please let me stay in flow state, let me keep working. Then also what you want to do is you want to focus on one task at a time. So if you're writing an email to someone, you have like email open, let's say on a tab, you don't want to tab next to that with a Mr. Beast YouTube video or TikTok open, because that's like the worst thing you could do. What's gonna happen is the second your flow state cracks, you're gonna have one little crack in your flow state and you're gonna click on the YouTube tab, you're gonna click on the TikTok tab, and then there goes everything you built up. So think about it like really seriously with that. You wanna stay in flow state for as long as you can, and you don't want a single distraction in the way. So no tabs open, nothing. In order to ensure that flow state is optimal, I put on music. And this music I find on brain.fm. I'm not sponsored by them, I'm not working with them or anything. It's just a super useful website that I use every time I get into flow state or every time I want to do deep work. It cycles through focus music. So music that's gonna get you into flow state, that's gonna get you into deep work. And then what I do also is I set timers. So on there you can set like a 25-minute on, 5-minute off timer. So then I can keep in flow state for 25 minutes and be able to take 5 minutes off and then go back to it on and off and on and off. I use that whenever I'm doing writing work or something that's gonna be a little bit more on the thinking side where I have to think a lot. So by keeping breaks in there, like micro breaks, it keeps my brain sharp and ensures that flow state can go on for a longer period of time. So try some of these things out and comment what you think, comment your experience, because I want this comment section to be the most productive comment section on YouTube. Go crazy, write out full paragraphs, help people out, reply to comments, do whatever you can. I hope you gained something from this, and I'll see you in the next video.